Hello, boys and girls. It's your pal Isaac. Welcome to Story Time. I'm enjoying a cup of large raised slow roast coffee. Yum. No, it really is good though. So my friend Joe from factOrFreestyle has asked me to check out the his set of zines and read them in reverse order, and all of the things will become known to me that are not known to me now. So I'm excited for this journey of Stoke. So why don't we do this together? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start reading these zines to you and test my ability to pronounce words as well as tell a story. My cat's going to come along. It's going to make a noise. There he goes. All right, cool. So my cat's going to post up in a window behind me while we go ahead and read this. I'm excited. So let's go ahead and kick off this. Now you can join along in your own little adventure if you head over to largearrayslowroastcoffee.com. Scroll to the very bottom down here at the very bottom. You're going to see the whole zine. I'm starting with zine issue 9 and then going back to zine 1. So let's go ahead and let all of that load, and we're going to kick it off. Eddie Fiola's, Gary Pollock's, Factor Freestyle, issue 9, back for more. I'm excited about this. It kicks off next weekend. Presented by the Terradome Sports Science Research Center. V3 2024 6 7. So June 7th, I'm assuming. Or it could be, yeah, it's probably June 7th. All right. Blank page 1. Sponsor message. Tell Magoo this is the grander design. The pattern keeps clicking. Now we're going backwards, you guys. So read the full backstory while sipping a cup of large array slow roast coffee. I will. You're fired, Andy Kaufman. Joe received the encoded secret message from the... Let me move my mic here. Joe received the encoded secret message from the show's lead investor on set while the cameras were rolling on the biopic. That might be the Eddie Fiola documentary, I'm not sure. It's everything you'd expect from Hollywood, reimaging the BMX Illuminati. Working title, Rad 2 Electric Boogaloo. BTS AF LOL. For it to make sense, we need to take a brief detour. Okay. Factor Freestyle began in 2016 when Joe and Dave met in Chad's shop for the resurrection of the AFA. Dave gave Joe a nickname and over-scolded him during a Gumby tutorial on live stream. That seems about right. I can see that. Their antics escalated. Dave once spun Joe's bars mid-combo in one of Joe's contrast runs. On a Facebook Live session, Dave did a Miami wedge on a wheelbarrow, which was on a picnic table, which was on cement blocks. In mid-2020, Dave had a dream. He called Joe during Joe's session. We should do a web show from Gumby Land. What do we talk about? I heard Joe Johnson has ants in his pants when he invented the vert tail whip. I heard Jose Yanez is planning a web redemption. Along the way, he comes to terms with his vendetta, then he finds salvation. Can we start with the ants? Working in stealth mode for 6 months, the unlikely duo called in favors, skewed their recollection of rumors, and invited legendary guests to correct the record. Great concept. Love it. In a twist of fate, Joe discovered that Bob Harrow is an over-gripper. In late 2021, Dave had a dream. He'd teach people how to live happy lives and get paid for it. Dave pitched the idea to Joe. Joe had a moment of clarity. If I overgrip Bob Harrow, then I can do anything. That's a good truth. Yeah, you can. Why not? Dave spent a weekend at the Terradome Sports Science Research Center. On Sunday, Dave issued Joe a choice. The 2022 show format will be life coaching or get the fuck out. GTFO. To keep pace with 9-time BMX Hall of Fame nominee Dave Norrie, Joe would have to go beyond his limits. Joe decided to structure a religion based on the Stoke. He would create a highly accessible, easy to follow guide for living a life of unlimited happiness. I think I know where this might be going. Yep. On the 43rd day of 2022, Dave and Joe co-executive produced Summit 43. I was there. I loved it. Ron delivered a keynote on his worldview. He sure did. He told us the key to happiness. Joe immediately put Ron's life coaching into practice. 1 week later, Joe attended his surprise coronation ceremony as a member of the Plywood Hoods. Congratulations, Joe. That's so rad. Did you have to audition? I just heard about that from Eaton. Later that evening, Joe was visited by frog bars and given a mission in a dream. This is where I get lost. Maybe the coffee will help. Frog bars I just have never understood. Raybo had joined the cast, much to Joe's delight and much to Dave's trepidation. Dave is accustomed to talking Ron out of trouble. Joe and Ray are accustomed to speaking the truth and laughing. Joe and Ray laugh about the Naked Gumby. Naked Gumby story, you guys. At Woodward West in 2022, Dave announced the Back for More in 24 tour. Dave asked Ray, Joe, and Mark Eaton to co-executive produce it. Joe believed that to run the tour, Dave must grow. In Joe's view, the quickest way to grow would be to conquer the biggest fear of his life, performing a naked Gumby. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Biggest fear. Joe believed it would be helpful to life coach Dave via the parable of the naked Gumby in zine form and to distribute the zines via AFA prize packs. Peer pressure, I like it. The thought of the naked Gumby sent Dave into panic. Joe wrote zines to chart Dave's course through panic into glory. I love this, document it all. As Dave's resistance grew, Joe realized that he too must chart a course to do the hardest thing in his life. Once more, land the no-handed jump from front wheel to rear wheel 7 years after he first landed it at age 43. Joe named the project New Bruises, a life-changing story. It's beautiful. I love that. The path to your goal is not easy, comfortable, or familiar. Everything you labeled as friend or foe will be unlabeled. You must rebuild your mind anew. Truth. True. Although this may be just a fun thing, that is absolutely truth. Dave refused the call many times, quitting the show. Joe reordered his priorities many times, not editing the show. The two remained in a state of quantum entanglement. Both sought salvation via surviving the trial of doing the hardest thing in their lives. So went the mantra, life change or GTFO. I like that. On September 8th, 2023, while imagining himself autographing scenes and reminding people to believe, Joe landed the no-hand jump. It felt like a dream. Congrats, Joe. On April 6, 2024, Dave announced tour dates. The hardest thing. Frog Bars is an alien entity that comes to Earth to find fitting humans and forge them into proper vessels for the stoke. Frog Bars visits you in your dreams, then and probably affects circumstances in your waking life. The mechanism that makes this work is belief. Sola fide, faith alone. Believing is not always easy. It requires intentional small steps. That's true. You imagine, attempt, refine, and repeat. One day it clicks and you learn the trick. That's true. This works on and off the bike. Your bike is your training tool. I believe that as well. I think freestyle and skateboard kids will be the ones to cure cancer because they're used to failing over and over and over, but believing that they can do something, which no-handed jump from front to back, and Dave's belief that he can't do a naked Gumby. Or is he just doesn't want to do it? I don't know. We'll see. Believing is not always easy. It requires, okay, yeah, your bike is your training tool. That's true. So your bike trains you through life. That's very true. I wouldn't be anything that I am today without freestyle. Now, Joe and Dave explain the process. They are both missioned by Frog Bars to propagate the stoke. The number is 43. NorCal. This true story is the reason Eddie Fiola paid Joe to own the revenue rights to the show. Eddie works in show business, an industry based on illusion making. The illusions are storytelling tools but not all illusions are real. The dinosaurs in Jurassic Park are not real, but they serve as characters to advance a story that is real. Eddie's biopic contains paid actors. Although their testimonies are true, they exist within three walls. To tell the magical true story of Eddie Fiola, Eddie must co-executive produce an exemplary moment from beyond the fifth wall, the never-ending Stoke. Eddie's mission is to commune with Frogbar so as to imagine a way to translate his story of BMX to a mass audience. At his disposal, the entire apparatus of Hollywood storytellers, like Ed. At stake is the success of Eddie's biopic. Arguably, Eddie's biopic is the hardest thing Eddie has ever done in his life. I see. That's cool. I see where this is going. Coffee is a sponsor message, by the way. Coffee is a generational business. It's also a cartel. The premium crop is served to the coffee Illuminati. The next tier is served to brands owned by the members. The bottom tiers are sold to a private level. Large Race Slow Roast Coffee is tailored to your exquisite taste. Our innovative supply chain guarantees the world's best loved coffee in your cup daily. You purchase your favorite coffee or purchase your curated selection. Then you apply the sticker and Bob's your uncle. Experience quality on your terms. Large Race Slow Roast Coffee Sticker Company LLC. We're a sticker company. I love that. Good message. It takes much to enter the BMX Hall of Fame. It's more than riding. It's contributing, it's evangelizing BMX, and it's leaving an indelible mark. Dave Norrie endured personal ordeals that would have sent anyone else to a trade school and a steady job, relegating BMX to a nice memory from the 80s. But BMX spoke to Dave, and Dave listened faithfully to the Stoke. I added that part. You have many choices of ways to improve people's lives, but there are a few particular ways to improve people's lives with BMX. Dave mastered the language of BMX to improve the lives of people who hear its song. Truth. That was Joe's pitch to Gork and Shannon Gillette. The pitch accompanied office-sized servings of Large Race Slow Roast Coffee. God, I hope you sent the good ones. Several full sets of factOrFreestyle zines. They're all good. And a letter clarifying it was neither a bribe nor an immoral influence operation. Rather, it was a full context testimonial of several key events that Joe observed after Gork shared his explanation of 43. Gork's from NorCal, too. White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane plays. It plays in your head. You play it in your world. You read the lyrics, you observe the matrix. You read the lyrics, you observe the matrix owns it. Red pill, blue pill, factOrFreestyle. White Rabbit. The White Rabbit are people who talk to you about factOrFreestyle. factOrFreestyle is the pill that takes you down the rabbit hole. The rabbit are people who talk to you about factOrFreestyle. I get it. Okay. Flatland Assassins Battleground, August 2 to 3. That's coming up. Empowering Flatland riders worldwide at Flatland Assassins. Oh, this is a sponsor message. Okay, cool. DMFA Battlefield Ground sponsor pack. Cool. And this one too. There's another Slow Ray sponsor message. And also this one. Same message again. Then every writer realized the final page was for them to write the start of their next chapter on the remainder of the page. Is that the last page? Oh, that's cool. All right, so that is the conclusion, but we're reading it backwards. I see. Cool. Now we're going to go down to issue 6. 7, 8 might not have made it up yet. Joe. I put my sticker on Illy, by the way, because you're worth it. All right. Eddie Fiola, Gary Pollock's factOrFreestyle, The Dream Keepers, presented by the Terradome Sports Science Research Centra. Page 1 is blank. Sponsor message. Tell Magoo this is great. Okay. This travelogue is your blueprint for a life worth repeating. Read how the master appears to inspire our hero while sipping a cup of Large Race Slow Roast coffee. So there is a picture outside of looks like the USA BMX Hall of Fame, Tulsa, Oklahoma. At first, they appeared to be protesting. No one had ever protested the National BMX Hall of Fame at that point in history. What they lit weren't Molotov cocktails, but rather sage bundles. Why would 6 demonstrators and 2 videographers go to such lengths to converge on this part of Tulsa? Were they lost? All right. Cherish the found object, preserve the dream, honor the all-seeing dome, protect the pinnacle. So this is about the helmet. Cherish the found object. The Kevin Jones, the everyone wore the helmet of the eyeball. Preserve the dream, honor the all-seeing dome. Or in their own words, were they found? They weren't lost, they were found. They used sigils. That meant they were serious. They were dressed in unmatched collared shirts. They had what sounded like their own language. One guy did all the talking. A press crew arrived, having been tipped off. The scene occurred 2 hours before opening time. The group appeared to be forming a line. And then there's a picture of the official results of the 1990 BMX Plus Freestyler of the Year election, where in 9th place, Ray beat Gary Pollock as Freestyler of the Year. Ron Wilkerson won that year, by the way. Good job. And he beat Dave Norrie. They came to witness a divine emblem of hope, a divine emblem of alien grace. By all counts and designs and expectations of the time, no power player had predicted the rise of perhaps the greatest, most memorable exemplar of all time, the 9th greatest freestyler of 1990, Raymond Joseph Raybo, a.k.a. Raybo, a.k.a. Large Ray. Sorry, Ray, I love you. I'm not going to slaughter your last name like that. How the master appears to inspire our hero while sipping a cup of Large Ray's slow roast coffee. The dude. And yet, despite their careful cultivation of the industry, the mortal foremen of Freestyle BMX, with their uniforms, installed judges, factory design, professional class performers. Despite all of that, one authentic true hero emerged, the Miracle. He manifested like a flame. He wasn't really from anywhere. The conditions were right, and he came into being. Go, Ray. Gork just shook his head. In his desk drawer were these 3 sealed letters dated October 28th, 2022. As he prepared to unseal the first letter, he looked directly into Shannon Gillette's eyes and said, "When you sold a sponsored table to the Flatland Assassins, they believed they bought antics right in perpetuity. God, hard words I never say. As Shannon took the letter into his hands and unfolded it, a tear rolled down his face. Shannon just lives down the road. I'm going to have to get his reaction. They all believe this is much bigger than BMX. They intend to ensure everyone on Earth realizes this is much bigger than BMX. You're reading this now and can see the evidence at our front door right now. It's true. All of it. It's true. All of it." First one had a question mark. And Han Solo. In the beginning, are you about to tell me the second letter is about the Stoke and frog bars and shrimp rocks? You know the shrimp rocks were here the entire weekend in that backpack, right? With a navel gaze, seeing his fate, this is just the beginning. This, my friend, is just the beginning of the latest chapter, but this is not where it all started. Circus ticket. That was the first time it happened. Roughly every month, 43 days actually, another 6 pilgrims, as they're called, showed up. 2 photographers, 1 journalist, the sage, the signs, the zines, all the same every 43 days. Some guy in Ohio sells tickets. Each time the same routine, acting out the origin story. The first devotee begins. West Palm Beach, Florida, 1987. A woman named Susie Q, in a dominating tone, remarked, "I'm going to keep my eye on you." 7 hours later, a security guard, wanting to make an example of him, roughed up young Raybo. Look at that guy roughing up Ray. Rude. This was a choice against tyranny. His choice was freedom and consequence. The second devotee in line tells the story of the next week, the travel home after the incident, the holders of the secret, the spreading of the legend. The hidden origin story lay cloaked behind the sensational fate of the microwave. This is where I'm starting to get lost. The third devotee tells The story of one fateful contest, AFA Finals in the Velodrome. Sulking in the bleachers, segregated away from the contestants, Ray was given another forced choice to compete in the show. This is when Magoo did it. A mentor by the name of Magoo enrolled Ray in beginner class, which gave him full access to the staging area. Voila. That was a revelation of the all-seeing eyeball helmet. Ah, I see what you did there. I like it. All right. The fourth devotee tells the earlier origin story of Ray's pursuit of freedom in the form of liberty with his best friend, the smallest kid in class, sharing a 7-Up on a field trip. The fifth devotee is a numerologist who begins the calculations by hand. Fuck it. Let freedom ring. And then there's dice. The sixth devotee rings a replica bell once, then reads the results of the calculation. Constructive freedom, variety, change, action, restlessness, life experience, pioneering innovation, adventure, rebellion, opportunity. The rest of the devotees join in 6 times in reverse order from the 6th to the 1st, like we're reading these books. 4 fingers spread the blinds from the executive director's tower office. It's an all too familiar scene, the reenactment of the first pilgrimage. A new crop of Amish dudes assemble at the front door 2 hours before opening time every 43 days, like clockwork. The Amish dudes are probably the plywood hoods. They do their ritual, the doors open, and they calmly proceed to the all-seeing eyeball helmet. They marvel. Once considered by many in the establishment to be the least likely artifact to be enshrined, turned out to be the one in 43 billion in ideal spirit. Yeah, dude, I was so stoked when that helmet got put in there. The helmet steward Gork tells stories to each crop of pilgrims, all the stories of the pilgrims who made the journey to pay homage, all the antics of all the devotees on the way of the Stoke. All the devotees of the way of the Stoke. One story stands out as a crowd favorite. The story of MTV's TJ, issuing the first encoded beacon to the devotees during his induction speech on October 22nd, 2022. Shout out to factOrFreestyle. I love you guys. Raybo's story show. Let's see. There we go. There's Gork holding the helmet. Come ye devotees to bask in the manifest destiny of the all-seeing eyeball helmet and believe your dreams can be your reality. Imagine that. That was a solid issue. I like that. The story of the helmet and Ray. Gary Pollock's factOrFreestyle issue 5. The Donors Revolt. Blank page. Sponsor. The story inspired real events to lead to good outcomes. Okay. This is all Joe's fault, Raybo. Joe's antics advisor was perfectly clear. Dave took inspiration from Joe's outcomes, but ignored the torturous methods by which Joe conditions himself to produce those outcomes. As a result of overpromising and undercommitting, Dave finds himself in a pinch. One way out is through the one trick Dave most strongly hesitates performing. Nobody on earth could have predicted this chaotic chain of events. There is, however, one entity not bound by such parameters that can offer one way out. There's just one catch. It's a choice that only one person can make. There's what you control, what you decide, what you endure. So, preparation is what you control. The choice is what you decide. What you endure is the consequence, good or bad. It's a grueling choice for the unprepared. For the unprepared, the decision is already clear. There's just one catch. Such a clear decision is comfortable, yet ironically leads to misery and slow, uncontrollable torment. $43. Everyone loves money so much that they hate when money is taken from them with nothing given in return. True. No one enjoys feeling hoodwinked, taken in, duped, overcharged, victimized. Our current period in history is a character in the story. In 2023, historically high money supply resulted in historically high inflation. The irony of abundant new money is that all existing money becomes less money. True. Bikes were like $2,000 for a $600 bike. Frustration among the people is palpable. The antagonist is a phantom. Dave disengaged from his life coach, Joe. Joe once revealed to Dave, when a phantom is operating, everyone is under investigation. Turns out Dave is under investigation as the cause of the missing money. Dave took GoFundMe money from the people in exchange for a world tour. Today, a tour website redirects to a gas station full of vintage bikes. Some of those bikes have the worst brake setups you'll ever see next to a $4,000 price tag. Truth. Dave's BMX life coaching doesn't appear polished. Doesn't appear to be creating a team show. Dave does appear to be directing attention away from the tour and the donors' money. Dave needs money and a pickup right now. Months earlier, Dave ignored life coaching from Joe, the 3-part strategy for making money while building the skills to deliver back for more in 24. The Naked Gumby. Every month, Joe reminds Dave of one way to get 5,000 Nissan pickup right now. The way is to do it through a Naked Gumby. With one twist, live TV cameras will be fixated on Ron and Brian broadcasting beyond East Germany. At this time in history, 2023, nudity is ABD, true NBD is people's genuine reactions. This genuine quality is a substance of exquisite value. The genuine quality is the new gold. It cannot be mechanically replicated. It does not originate from a money printing machine. It must be mined with one's own labor, shrewd insight, and a bit of luck, which favors the faithful. Back for more in 24. The pickpocket may gather cash, but that does not represent genuine quality. If sneaky snatched, it represents null emotion. If detected, it represents negative emotion, neither of which represent the stoke. That's a scolding. The donor's revolt is a signal that the sneaky pickpocket is no longer operating in the shadows. The only way to repay the donor's debt is with genuine quality stoke. That's true. One surefire way to deliver the genuine quality stoke to the hearts of the heroes, Ron and Brian, is to perform a trick we all call the Naked Gumby at the opening of the Great Circus in Space. One way to pay for the life of your dreams. That's a good quote. It's one way to pay. You got to do what you don't want to do. Do what you think can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Let's read the next one. Issue number 5. Gary Pollock's Fact or Freestyle. Issue 5. The Donor's Revolt. Oh, I already did this one. Never mind. 4. The Great Circus in Space. Here's a card of Dave. Dave quit the show because Joe and Ray would not get off his case about the Naked Gumby and his progress in planning Back for More in 2024. Yeah, it seemed to stall. I didn't really know what was going on, and then all of a sudden it's like it's next week. That's the way Back for More in 24 went. It's what a cool idea, It's happening, and then nothing, and then, hey, are you going next weekend? No, bro, I didn't know that was actually going to happen. That was my take. Dave hired my agent, Vinny. Dave paid Vinny with traffic generated by tour interest. This helped Vinny sell a gas station full of vintage bikes. Joe, Ray, Todd, Chad, and Sony found this to be a remarkable bargain. Not one date posted. Rumors began circulating of Donor's class action lawsuit. Joe noticed Dave had gotten himself into a pinch. Oh, there's the frog bars. There they are. As is his habit, when hazard is near, Joe consulted the one entity that could solve a problem of this magnitude. He consulted frog bars. Novelty history. A few moments ago, many moments ago. This is the crazy hot scale, but only for the potent stoke. The potent stoke has a half-life along 2 dimensions. Novelty in history. Retelling stories from long ago invokes depleted stoke within those who first experienced it. Yep. The most potent stoke occurs in the upper right. Yep. Back for more of the same? Back for more new adventure. Ron and Brian have done a lot. They've never seen the Naked Gumby, the one entity that can invoke enough stoke to create the show of their life. Okay, so that's what it was. They needed to see the Naked Gumby before they would start planning. They needed that oomph, that little kick in the dick to start going. The mission is clear, the mechanics are sound, the potential is great, but how can Joe light this stoke bomb? Joe, I think you got it. Dave continued his new podcast tour on Banter BMX. The host asked the guys to tell the story of their favorite tour memory. Ron spoke the truth without hesitation. The time Dave did a Naked Gumby, it was on German live TV. I gave him my Nissan pickup, added Brian. Although Dave asserted he didn't do a Naked Gumby on the live German TV, the chemistry of the conversation revealed to Joe the one way out of Dave's imminent lawsuit, the Great Circus in Space. One MBD show, circus tent, Dave's alone inside, mic'd up. Dave gets into a Naked Gumby, then tells Ron and Brian to peek through the door flaps. Ron and Brian launch into hyper stoke. They would. Webcams record their reaction for the world. I would love to see that. I'd pay $43 to see their reaction. The live audience witnesses the stoke. Dave gets dressed, hands the mic to Kevin. The four do the show of their life. Oh, I hope that happens. Devote yourself to what's never been done. God, I hope that happens. I hope you guys do that in Seattle for the first show. You know, what if they made Dave wear the Halloween costume from The Karate Kid with the shower, so he has a shower curtain, but he could do it out there in the middle. God, I hope that happens. Issue 3, the forward. factOrFreestyle, the first rehearsal. Issue number 3. The story inspired events to become true. So $750 raised of $84,000. Dave hadn't raised the $1.5 million he needs to go on the New World Tour, but he had an idea to do an Oppo tour. Bring people to a secret compound to hang out with him, Ron, Brian, and Kevin for a weekend. That's a camp out. Dave worked with sponsors to construct what Ray calls the Potato Dome, because Dave used to grow his magical purple potatoes inside. It's got an asphalt floor, a wedge ramp, and a 6-foot quarter pipe. Fun fact, DMC calls it a pipe jump. A weekend at Norrie's. Dave explained his plan to Joe, Ray, Todd, and Anthony while they were shooting the show. Todd noticed the FB post, Weekend at Norrie's. This set the boys ablaze with excitement. Good time machine. Weekend at Norrie's. Joe launched the plan on the interwebs within hours. Dave, upon seeing the launch announcement graphic, said he should check with Ron, Brian, and Kevin first. Joe told Dave that was wishful thinking. There was no turning back now. Truth. There's the hero's journey. The experience happens in 3 parts per Ron's formula. The pickup, the hangout in a simulated parking lot with ramps and a dinner and a night sky with a million stars, the drop off. It almost sounds like the way they film The Mandalorian in the, what do they call that? I forgot what they call that. The Mando. They can recreate any environment 3D. It's all rehearsal for the world tour, and the crew of showmen need a crew of zany people like that, like those they'll meet on the road. And the zany people shoot footy and make their own content. I like that. Like Eaton. It's smaller than Swampfest, but there are more of them per year. Dave makes a different show plan each time. You get to hang out with the guys, watch the shows, then talk about the shows over dinner. Everyone makes videos of the show rehearsal. One message to rule them all. Integrating your marketing platforms by unifying all aspects of communications is essential for strengthening the customer journey. It gives you a complete picture of your audience's behavior and helps you identify the best opportunities for high-quality leads. Tips to integrate effectively. They're trying to find out what show ideas appeal to people these days. The show crew all have sponsors that want to be integrated into the videos you make. If you like making content on the interwebs and you like BMX and the long history of it, and if you want to hear what history from 4 guys who made it this is for you. And that was the pitch. Hundreds of people spent a weekend at Norrie's. Thousands of pieces of content flooded the interwebs. People who weren't there re-edited the footy into their own stories. Then one particular storyline caught the attention of one particular rich something. It's a person. That's how the four guys ended up on this charter plane. Looks legit. Doesn't look like AI at all. Doing this show on this island, those four guys had so much fun doing the shows together, live streaming them for a small group of people in person, and they all hung out after. And every stop gave Ron another idea about the locations he's scouting for his release book party. There's a QR code. I'll scan one of those in a minute. All right. Issue number 1. Eddie Fiola's factOrFreestyle, The Curious Case of the Naked Gumby. During a whirlwind of serendipity one day during COVID-19, Ron had time to talk to Dave on Zoom. In the course of questioning the origin story of the first Gumby, Ron revealed the almost origin story of the first naked Gumby. It's important to note that Dave so closely protects his trick that he altered the spelling to avoid being sued for the $43 million it's worth, thus born the Gumby. I love Dave Norrie's personality, his mind, the way he thinks. At Woodward OSR Old School Reunion in 2021, Ron, while encouraged by many others, spoke to Dave about the merits of doing a naked Gumby. Dave was hesitant. And Dave Norrie says this is an over Gumby, over gripping. Dave recruited Ron to be the keynote speaker at Dave's first Formula Life Coaching Seminar, Summit 43. The seminar captured Untold. I was there. In fact, right there. It's your boy. Hanging out next to Dave and Joe. It's cool. There's Ron, Joe Mama. Ron spoke of the importance of saying the truth and not shying away from your hesitancies and fears. Dave was deaf to this message as it relates to the naked Gumby. Dave's following attempt at Untold Fortune was to produce a real-life Blues Brothers spinoff titled Back for More in 2024. Dave asked Ron and Brian to relearn Air Over 540. Dave committed to do the Gumby, the Rego version. Cool, man. I'm going to do this trick I've always done. You guys relearn Air Over 540s. Dave's life coach, Joe, observed an imbalance. I think we all do. This imbalance threatened the fate of the Blues Brothers spinoff story. Every story requires the characters to grow. Dave's just going to do a Rego Gumby. Dave's life coach, Joe, and Joe's antics hero, Raybo, held an intervention for Dave. Joe and Raybo confronted Dave for being an egomaniac. Todd joined to support Dave with his excellent calm voice of reason. That's awesome. Todd has the best hair ever. Todd looks like everybody's physics teacher in high school. And I love him. He's so smooth, though. My God. Todd is so smooth at everything front wheel and back wheel. And he got second overall. Or first overall? And second this most recent? I don't know. Todd did really well this year. Congrats, Todd. I digress. For Dave's penance, Joe proclaimed that Dave must do a naked Gumby, have Dave's life partner take a silhouette photo of it against the sunset or sunrise, then darken it to hide Dave's privates. The graphic would be Dave's next Flatland Assassin signature shirt. Dave resisted. I would have bought that. Being an exceptional life coach, Joe, that's the best inside joke ever. If it was just a silhouette and we all knew that he was actually naked. Because look, nothing naked ever goes wrong, really. The Craig Grosso naked run at the Enchanted ramp only elevated I'm still stoked on that to this day. Right now, I get stoked when I think about how crazy that was and how angry Matt Hoffman's dad got. And so anytime you can introduce nudity to freestyle and make it like an inside joke, I think it's great. The other one just wasn't as inside because it was at the Enchanted ramp next to a fucking freeway. Craig Rosso forever. All right, Ron is stoked on the energy of a crowd-funded tour. I think we all are. Ron's being asked to do an air over 540. That's terrifying. Dave won't let his bottom be seen by his life partner from a distance. The sacrifice is asymmetrical. Boy, howdy. Boy, howdy. Come on, Dave. Joe remembered his story of how Brian would teach kids to roll in on a quarter pipe during clinics. He'd push them. That inspired Dave's life coach, Joe. I like that. Yep. Working in secret, Joe Rabo and Todd conspired with the graphic designer to create a cartoon of the naked Gumby for Ron. When they turned the cartoon into a silhouette, it was indistinguishable from a real photo. You can see Dave's toes. Toes. I think that's poor boy Steve. Did he sign it? I'd bet $10 that's poor boy Steve. Joe, now a plywood hood. Hell yeah, Joe. Hell yeah. I will pause for that every time. Bought a sponsored table for Kevin Jones' induction into the BMX Hall of Fame. Joe collected signatures on the Naked Gumby shirt for Ron, who was in Maldives at the time of the event. I hope I spelled that right, or I pronounced that right. There's Gary Pollock, Matt Hoffman, and Joe. The Hoods drove out to visit Matt on Sunday. Matt also signed the Naked Gumby shirt for Ron, because Matt lives in Oklahoma. Look at that, dude. That's sick. What a cool shirt. Joe has always been inspired by Ron and has been trying to figure out how he could get Ron stoked. Well, I think that would probably do it. Gork. Gork signed it. The Terradome. Joe is the creative director of the Terradome Sports Science Research Center, the science of the feeling of belief. There's a censored. The Terradome, it makes it worse, dude, because now I picture it. I've seen it before, like without it, it's fine. Now, the Terradome is where dreams do come true. Ron's dream of a naked Gumby has come more true as of now. May the stoke be with you. Barcode. All right, let's check out what this barcode is. That's the end of it, you guys. And the barcode takes you back to a very slow loading, back for more in 24. And I'm going to assume it's slow loading because so many people are going right now to donate $43. See if I just jump on Wi-Fi. Maybe it's my cell phone. No. All right. My impressions of the these zines, I think, are pretty amazing. I love that Joe sat down and wrote all this stuff out. I think it's pretty phenomenal. The stoke is real. The story of them harassing like everyone going to visit the BMX Hall of Fame to get the helmet in there. Just as an old school guy, I'm just Johnny. I did Flatland. Wasn't famous. I had a low-key sponsorship that didn't really do anything, but I got a free bike and I rode it Interbike for MCS. I made tremendous friendships, and the life lessons that I learned from freestyle will be here in with me forever. It's the only reason I have my house. All of this stuff are direct lessons that I learned from being a freestyler, like failing fast and not giving up. Just think of that one trick. Was it front wheel to back wheel that Joe was doing with no hands? Every trick that you learned, you failed over and over and over, but you believed you could do it, and in the end, you may or may not have pulled off that trick. But you pulled off some type of trick because you identify as a freestyler. You've learned to do an endo. You've learned to do whatever it is that makes you stoked on your bike. You failed. You cut yourself. You got skinned up. You paid for it, but you learned it. Excuse me, that coffee. But you learned it. So that's pretty much the story of freestyle for me, is overcoming something that you thought you couldn't do, and the amazing feeling that has when you do it, the stoke and the memories, the friendships, the everything that we all kind of share as a combined DNA of freestyle. Whether you did wall rides, whether you did, um, you know, bar endos, whether you did Diz Hicks type kick turns, whatever you did in freestyle, you were all part of it. You contributed to it. You built the foundations, the stoke. You stoked other people. All of it, summer tours, and so reading those really kind of just took me back to a really simple. I'm stoked right now. You can probably see it on my face. I went from just being whatever blah blah day to really excited about BMX right now. I want to go ride my bike, which is exactly what stoke is. Stoke makes you uh, stoke calms my mind so that I can hear the call of BMX and what it can do to me. It gives me a moment to go, hey, I bet a ride around the block on your bike can fix this. I bet 30 minutes of trying boomerangs will fix this, and it usually does. And notice I didn't say landing the trick. Just going out and doing stuff on your bike will fix most problems. So have fun. Thanks for listening to my little story time. We'll be back once I get some more episodes to check out. But until then, hang out, feel the stoke, quiet your mind, go do something awesome, do something that makes you feel very uncomfortable, and see where it takes you. It's always a good road. See you, friends.